You should have informed me.
Let you know.
Because I'm ready to go.
Ready to go? Okay.
This is really something that's touching me because I'm coming to the end.
Yes, you are.
Lady Bliss, baby.
Lady Bliss.
Lady Bliss.
All right.
Been up in heaven, up in
As Azii.
up in deep space with her, with 7 other guys. Tripped off with her to the planet called Azii. And now, if I'm not mistaken, in this section, they're going to ward off a invasion by the Earthlings who are coming to try to put an end to all of this rumor about there being a Lady Bliss on the good ship tomorrow, and that they destroyed. They did the automatic destruction thing because the people were getting out of hand. The astronauts were becoming too independent, and what they wanted to go up into the sky was peons, not independent explorers.
Exactly.
So, having said all of that,
yes,
let's get at it.
Let's get at it.
Lady Bliss.
Lady Bliss, cover by Charles Dixon and insert.
Charles Dixon.
And
co-conspirator
Ralph Vernon. There we go. Yes, indeed. And we have Lady Bliss.
All herself.
All right. Please, into the conclusion. Yes, please.
There you go.
All right.
The billboard size signs, this is what they put up in order to try to discourage Earth invasion. The billboard size signs, Lady Azii's, planet Azii's life forms have been destroyed by the ABE plague, the deadliest virus our universe has ever known. We warn all would-be explorers not to land on planet Azii. The atmosphere is contaminated and will be for centuries to come. Beware. Well, Molly, you completed a tour of the planet. What do you think? It looks okay, Cosmic. It looks okay, but I need a day or two to think about a few weak points, such as, well, what if they decide to land anyway? Well, in that event, Molly, we would have to kill them and make it seem as though they had been destroyed by ABE. Molly, the it being, stared at the determined set of her friend's chin and the hard look in her eyes. Would you actually kill Cosmic? Yes, I would. We would. You remember it says here in Oh Gosh 3:16 of the Aziian Chronicles, when or if the sanctity of the home is threatened, the intruder then can be repelled by any means necessary. Molly made a solemn sign of Itness to her friend and began from that moment to pray to the ancient ones and to the it being behind the beyond. Please, 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 don't let them land on Azii. Nothing like a cold cup of coffee. Almost 3 months to the date of their first sighting of Operation Bliss, she breached the outer perimeter of Azii's airspace, cameras flicking desolate images back to the Napa control room. The captain and crew studied the grim pictures in the desolate Azii scape. Oh my God, look at this place. What happened here? Captain, take a look at this. I think it might explain what we're looking at. Captain Mark Spiegel studied the 8.5 by 11 telephotos of the billboard-sized signs. Planet Azii's life forms have been destroyed by the ABE plague, the deadliest virus our universe has ever known. We warn all would-be explorers not to land on Azii. The atmosphere is contaminated and will be for centuries to come. Beware. The Earth's space explorer slash vehicle, Operation Bliss, slowly circumnavigated Azii's watermelon shape looking for signs of life. They found no sign of life on Azii. An overview of the Aziian capital city, Hi, made several members of the Operation Bliss crew nauseous. Look at their faces, with all of the pustules and the gruesome shapes of their bodies. Napa Command Control requested they should stop, repeat, to stop all transmission of photos of the planet Azii. Captain Mark Spiegel requested a private, non-public access call to his superior, Henry Johnson. Mr. Johnson, sir. Looks like what we got up here is a very live Vesuvius and a dead planet. It appears from the images we're transmitting to you and from the evidence of our own eyes that we're looking at a planet that was devastated with the power of AIDS, the bubonic plague, and Ebola. Maybe that's how they call it, ABE. And they've left signs stating unequivocally that we should not attempt to land. We await your instructions, sir. Henry Johnson, CEO, head of NAPA, with all of the power he had demanded and had been granted as CEO, president of NAPA, carefully studied the photos transmitted to him via Operation Bliss. Damn, a dead, contaminated planet. That's all the president would need to lose his nomination for a second term. There were no options, no fresh flowers to be smelt or planted if a mistake was made. He had a simple decision to make. Either land on the watermelon-shaped planet of Azii or not. But the ramifications would go way beyond that. What if the crew landed and were immediately dissolved by the plagues that had destroyed the Aziians? What if the space crew from Operation Bliss landed and was destroyed by the bacteria, the air, the atmosphere of Azii? What if? What if? Mr. Henry Johnson, CEO, president, slept fitfully through half a night before being urged to go to the Napa Control Command post room. The staff members were not surprised. They knew that Henry had their own sense of time. It could be day or night. What really mattered was out there. Captain Mark Spiegel, this is Henry Johnson. I want to ask if there have been any new developments. Over. The transmission of his question took a full minute. Captain Mark Spiegel here. Mr. Johnson, we've had a number of events occur. Number one, we think we've discovered the original garment, the original space suit that Lady Bliss wore when she was jettisoned by the Tomorrow crew. Henry Johnson felt an adrenaline jolt through his body. He signaled for coffee, but didn't feel caffeined up by the news. If they had discovered the panties worn by Lady Bliss on the good ship Tomorrow, would it be likely that anyone could truly appreciate the role she had played for that mission? The important thing for the world to know is that she was a dead issue in more ways than one. And Azii, the planet she was rumored to have drifted to, was also dead. He decided to bring the Operation Bliss crew home without landing on Azii. Calling Captain Spiegel, Henry Johnson, MT Napa called him Captain Spiegel. Captain Spiegel here, come in. Captain Spiegel, you have given us enough evidence to conclude that Azii is not a hospitable environment. Am I reading you correctly? Well, yes, sir, that's correct. And that you've recorded credible evidence that this Lady Bliss robot no longer exists. Am I reading you correctly? Yes, sir, correct. But after we've come this far, Captain Spiegel, I'm ordering you in an old-fashioned nautical terms to wheel about and return to port. I do not want you to land on Azii. The loss of even one crew member in these politically sensitive times would create a deficit that Napa cannot afford. Are you reading me, Captain Spiegel? Yes, sir, I am reading you. Good. Your return to Earth will be received with loud shouts and garlands, medals all around. I wish you a safe voyage home. Captain Spiegel sat at the control panel of his ship, Operation Bliss, for a few minutes after his conversation with Henry Johnson, CEO, head of Napa. He has me by the short hairs here. If I landed on Azii and discovered something that has not been discovered before, no matter what, since he has curfewed the mission, I would be disobeying orders. And I would be jeopardizing the lives of my crew if I disobeyed. He studied the telephotos of the gruesome scenes from high and from the surrounding areas. They are so gruesome. Maybe a little too gruesome. Maybe they're fakes. No matter. His orders were to return to Earth with the intelligence he had gathered, and that was enough to convince the politicians that there was no longer Lady Bliss out there waiting to sabotage future funding for Napa. Henry Johnson sipped his coffee. And studied the chart showing the areas of greatest danger that Operation Bliss would have to pass. Glad the guy had enough sense to follow orders. Nobody likes to abort a mission, not even a disobedient mission. The sighs of relief echoed all over Azii. The sighs became a form of Tai Chi. Aziians gathered in the council meeting auditorium to be led in sighs of relief by Mali, the It being. It was a festive occasion. Now, here we go, she directed with a big, delightful smile on her face. A 1, a 2, a 3. A 1, a 2, a 3. A 1, a 2, a 3. The 7 icons made brief appearances, each of them smiling at the outcome of events. Their followers created special events to celebrate the time of lies. Mm-hmm. Despite the misgivings of those who thought that telling a lie, portraying a lie, would irreversibly damage the moral character of Azii, no such thing happened. Aziians went about their truthful, normal, day-to-day lives. But from that day on, from the day it was recorded that the fake representation of Azii managed to stave off an Earth mission invasion, it was not unusual to find groups of Aziians, sometimes as many as a few hundred, gathered in a public place during the sigh of relief. Psi leaders, prompted by Mali, the It being, stress the importance of making the sigh a pleased, truly happy sound. Mali, the It being, says the sigh should come as close as possible to what a woman sounds like when she's having a gorgeous orgasm. Mm-hmm. Mali, the It being, Lady Bliss was sensualizing Azii in ways that they never thought about. And she was delighted to find them so willing to find the joy in the sigh. Aziians, I adore you for saving my life. Mali, we may have saved your life, but you have saved our planet, our way of life. We adore you more. Captain Spiegel took the question from his first mate as an opportunity to tell the crew what he knew about Azii and what their mission might have accomplished. Listen up. First thing everybody has to understand is that the Aziians are, or I should say, were not weird-ass looking, out of the freak box looking creatures. As you have seen, looking at the telephotos, these could have been photos of the Katrina disaster, or what happened in Mississippi and Florida way back in 2005. The Aziians were humanoids who migrated or immigrated to Azii from another planet to the east. Picture how the Hawaiian Islands were settled by people from beyond the reef. The legends say that they were led by some sort of super being who settled them down on Azii and then took off to a distant clutter of planets to talk to them about peace, hope, health and love, whatever, and promised to return one fine day. There's a whole lot of other stuff connected to that, but that's the core. We've known about them for a long time, but we didn't know anything about their vital signs. You know what I'm saying? A couple of the crew members smiled at the captain's use of such an out-of-date expression. Now I guess we'll never know. Too bad we didn't get to them sooner. They might have given us a few good tips on how to run a successful planet. The Operation Bliss spaceship was received with parades and medals. The president invited him into the Oval Office for a photo op. Henry Johnson had a private debriefing session with Captain Mark Spiegel that was more like an interrogation. Now, Captain, I want you to give it to me straight up. You're saying that you actually saw this Lady Bliss robot spacesuit close up? Sir, we took close-up photos of the suit. I think you'll see that it matches the earliest photos we have for the spacesuits that were in use during that era. Of course, we could have brought the garment back to Earth had it not been for fear of contamination. Pretty bad up there, huh? One of the most gruesome catastrophes I've ever seen. Well, that's too bad, but you know, the old saying, Captain Spiegel cocked his head to one side, listened closely, and to each life a little rain must fall. Captain Spiegel, recalling the deceased bodies on Azii, couldn't find the energy to laugh at his superior's joke. The period following the aborted mission of Azii was called the time of good size. Aziians spent more time than usual having celebrations, giving each other presents, having liar pants on fire parties, sipping moon juice in their bohemian outdoor cafes, and having more Aziians than ever before. The Aziian council had a rather light-hearted meeting about the new vibe. Blow will speak. I said, Blow will speak. I hope no one will misunderstand me and think that I'm anti-fun or anything like that. But we must rein in some of this carnivality, this joyousness, if you will. It's threatening to turn us all into a bunch of fun-loving idiots. Oh, incidentally, does anyone have any extra tickets to the Rashida Park concert? I promised my wife I would take her. Mali, the It Being, found herself dealing with an unexpected problem with one of her husbands. Don Armstrong had fallen in love with a young Aziian woman from the eastern sector. Mali, please understand, it isn't that I don't love you anymore. I just simply love her more. They went to a marriage concert, but no go. They had a trial separation and then a divorce. Molly, the It Being, / Lady Bliss, was emotionally devastated for a week or so, but with the firm support of her other husbands, she was able to bounce back strong.
Very good.
She and Don Armstrong became good friends, and later she was chosen to be the godmother of Don Armstrong's firstborn. Around this same period in time, Lady Bliss began to suffer from awkward spells of hot and cold flashes. She was reluctant to call attention to her problem, but she finally confessed to her best friend, Cosmic. I don't know why. I can't figure out what's wrong with me. You're just going through the change, honey. No big deal. it would really be bad if you were a man. It would be bad if you were a man. Your husbands are too young to be going through what men go through when they go through the change. But just wait and see. They'll become irritable, forgetful, and talk about hot and cold flashes. You'll see. Aside from the minor glitches of daily life on Azii, there was a general consensus that they'd never had it so good. And most Aziians attributed it to the presence of Mali, the it being. We owe it all to you, Mali. We owe it all to you. She accepted their adoration patiently, gracefully, humbly. I mean, let's face it, coming from where I come from, a ghetto in the sky, it wouldn't make much sense for me to try to act superior in any way. No matter whether she acted in a superior way or not, most Aziians felt that she was a superior being. Being Aziians, they were casual about their adoration of her, but they still felt that she had filled a niche in their lives that no other being had ever filled or could fill. A flash mail from the eastern sector, out tracking post, changed the life of the planet. Key members of the Aziian Council were summoned for an emergency meeting. They read and reread the flash mail. We have made direct contact with a woman in a spacesuit who claims to be Mali, the it being. The council members read and reread the flash mail, trying to decipher the inner meaning of the message. An immediate decision was made to bring the captain of the Eastern Sector out-tracking post to the Aziian Council Auditorium to give Aziians an opportunity to hear what the flash mail was about. Aziians, I came here not to praise the work that we in the Eastern Section have done to protect and serve. Bro will speak. Captain Bretone, can we please go beyond any elaborate descriptions of what you and your colleagues on the Eastern Sector were hired to do? I might add that the Council is quite pleased with the way you've monitored space trash. So now then, what have you brought us? Captain Bretone signaled for a subordinate to show the video of the creature they had pulled into the main platform of their space station. The council members gasped when they saw the face. It looked like Mali. Our Mali, the it being. It could certainly be her sister. Greetings, fellow Aziians. My name is Mali, the great-great-granddaughter of Mali, the it being. I was sent to you by my great-great-grandmother to let you know that she still loves you and that she wishes you continued peace, health, and prosperity. My great-great-grandmother could not make this trip with me because she's so busy. Right now, she's the leader of 10 planets, and as you can well imagine, her time is quite limited. In any case, as you can see, I'm here, and I look forward to meeting all of you. Cosmic made a request that the video be shown again and again. Ko, the current Aziian Community Council facilitator, was the first to speak. What do we do about this? I think the first thing we should do is consult the Aziian Chronicles, a small voice suggested. We should speak with Mali about this matter, another voice suggested. Which Mali? Another voice asked. Our Mali, Cosmic answered. Our Mali. The Aziian public was informed of the presence of another Mali. They were stunned, astonished by the news, and of course, Lady Bliss / Mali, the it being, was given the news by her friend Cosmic. Mali, Azii is rocking with the news, with this development. What do you think? Mali's stirring a pot of Aziian stew for her husband's dinner. It's like gumbo.
Got that.
With love
I got
stirred
that.
up in it.
Yeah.
Pause to give the matter some thought. Cosmic, I must be honest with you. The whole thing is such a weird surprise, I don't really know what to think. I think that's a pretty accurate description of how most of us feel. However, I have to tell you that some members of the council have been studying the ancient ones, the Aziian chronicles, to try to determine what we should do. What we should do? I don't understand. There's a faction in the council who feel that it wouldn't be right or appropriate to have two it beings on Azii at the same time. Mali flicked the off button under her stew pot, slightly exasperated by the latest development. Cosmic, I never considered myself the it being. You know that? What do you think I should do? For the moment, nothing. Let's wait and see what the council finds in the Aziian chronicles. However, I have to tell you right now, there are a large number of us, perhaps half the population of Azii, who would fight for your right to remain as Mali, the it being. Lady Bliss / Mali, the it being, felt distressed, on the verge of tears. What a horrible idea that I would be the cause of Aziian warfare. Rashida Park surfaced with a grim expression on her face, but said nothing. Moonflower Ghost Dance trailed her silently off for her spiritual sage to smell, to waft around the house. Sophia Laurenetti sniffed in the Aziian pot and made a thumbs up signal of approval. Hey, smells good. Hey, Steve would love it. 2 days later, a delegation from the Aziian consul made an official visit to Lady Bliss, Mali, the it being's home. Mali's husbands formed a protective perimeter for her. Itness signs were exchanged before Dr. Meme, the appointed spokesman, cleared his throat to speak. Unfortunately, we are here to bring you news that is not good. Perhaps I should say bad news. Mali, the it being, studied the pained expressions on the faces of some of the delegates. She was feeling quite calm and prepared to deal with whatever they had to bring her. Dr. Meme continued. A very, very careful study of the Aziian chronicles and past records of our Aziian calendars tells us that that a serious miscalculation was made concerning your particular circumstances. Ko, one of the delegates, a more direct type, took the narrative thread away from his faltering colleague. Mali, with all due respect, we have made a serious boo-boo. You may not be the it being we thought you were. Lady Bliss, Mali, the it being, responded with a bit of spice in her voice. I never said I was anyone other than myself. The Aziians made the decision to call me something I had never been. The truth of the statement caused several members of the delegation to frown. So now what? She fired at him. Dr. Meme, glaring around cautiously at his colleagues, took the lead. Well, it seems that Mali, the it being, the one who has just arrived, would like to meet you. A hard moment of silence held before anyone said anything. Are you sure you got the right it being this time? Cosmic asked with a sarcastic curl to her voice. Blow will speak. There's no need to speak sarcastically, Cosmic. Show me an Aziian who has never made a mistake, and I will show you an it being. The inadvertent irony of the statement caused several members of the delegation to smile. Well, what I meant was, Lady Bliss, Mali, the it being, signaled for him to be silent. Blow is true. None of us is perfect. Okay? Okay? Now, when would the it being like to meet? Dr. Meme pulled an official-looking document from his briefcase. How about tomorrow afternoon? Lady Bliss snapped her reply. Fine, I'll look forward to it. Jack Schmidt stepped to the front and center of the protective curve. I'm speaking on behalf of all of us, the husbands. I'm sure you all are aware of the implications of what is happening here. To make a long story brief, there is only one Mali, so far as we're concerned, and we're prepared to do whatever is necessary to maintain her position in Aziian society. And we have many allies. Keep that in mind, okay? The delegation offered fervent Itness signs all around and bowed out, some of them looking slightly apprehensive. Cosmic remained on the scene. Molly, what are you going to do? Cosmic concern was reflected on the faces of Mali's husbands. About what? She asked with an innocent expression on her face. About this other Mali, about this situation. I'll prepare a light salad, hors d'oeuvres, and serve one of Aziia's finest moon juices. Now then, would you all care to join us for dinner? The inner circle of the Aziian, it's kind of, you know, if you saw a movie right now, I think I'd be laughing.
I think so too. Why not?
Oh, Jesus Christ. The inner circle of the Aziian constantly held a feverish meeting that night, trying to read between the lines. What do you think her husband meant when he said, we're prepared to do whatever is necessary to maintain her position in Aziian society? That sounded like a serious threat to me. We don't need a civil war, any the other kind of war on Azii. It would make us look like all those idiots on Earth. Mm-hmm. Who are always fighting about something or other. Well, what can we do? Frankly, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens. That's too chancy. We need a plan B and exit strategy. We know the it being that arrived last is the real deal. That's been verified in the chronicles. But that doesn't completely disqualify Mali, the it being from Earth. I mean, let's face it. There has to be something sacred about her too. After all, she saved us from an Earth invasion. That makes her very special in my book. If she's not the it being, then I vote that we make her one. But that's something that only the ancient ones could do. We're the ancient ones of the future. Why can't we do it? Huh? You got that right. Noon, next day. The Aziian council members, families, friends, neighbors, and just plain citizens formed a parade corridor route to Mali Lady Bliss's front door. It was quite obvious that there was a great deal of tension across the separation. The Lady Bliss, Mali, it being, Aziians were lined up on the right. Mali, the it beings, on the left. There were sour expressions on both sides, stink eyes and mad dog glares, but no outright hostility. Mali, the it being, rode one of Azii's A vehicles through the lines, smiling to her left and her right. The tension peaked as she dismounted and strolled up the flower-decked path to Lady Bliss's front door. Lady Bliss opened the door herself, stood looking at her fellow it being for a moment, and welcomed her with a warm embrace. Come on in, girlfriend. We got some stuff to talk about. You know, I mean, like, yeah. you know what I'm saying?
Got that right.
Moments later, the Aziians assembled heard the sounds of two it beings laughing and gossiping. Yeah, how was it out there, girl? Oh, shit. You want to get 7 husbands? Oh, Lord.
Mm-hmm. Where's mine?
Where mine is?
Where mine is.
I'm sorry, I got off it. Assembled heard the sounds of two beings laughing and gossiping. That was 10 short years ago. Mali won with her 7 icons and strange way of arriving on Azii was duly recorded in the amended version of the Chronicles called the New Chronicles. And she was granted ithood by the Aziian Council.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mali, the real it being, formed a close relationship with her which doubled the spiritual benefits that the Aziians had been receiving.
Mm-hmm.
They were literally flabbergasted by their good fortune. There was a proverb that came from that era. 2 Mali it beings are certainly better than 1. The pleasures on Azii were double. Ecstasies prolonged. Sweetness, goodwill, and light everywhere. I mean, where? And then the rumors started. Earth was preparing for another shot at Azii. Aziian scientists cautioned, please don't jump to conclusions. We're receiving intelligence of something else happening. The something else they discovered a few days later was the nuking of the planet Earth, a raw case of planetary suicide.
Mm-hmm.
Too bad, Aziians whispered. Too bad, but they've been edging up to that end, such zeros in their time frame. Yes, but who would have thought they would nuke themselves to smithereens?
Mm.
It was probably a miscalculation of some sort. Well, that may be true, but remember, Klaatu warned them about the dangers of nuclear warfare a long time ago. You remember Klaatu?
Oh, yes.
Who incidentally was from Azii.
Oh.
But a lot of people know that because they kept that history secret. Because Azii was colored.
Oh, gotcha.
Klaatu was colored, I meant to say.
Yes, that too.
The It beings, Mali 1 and Mali 2, behaved and thought of themselves as sisters. They looked out for each other and helped maintain Azii as a utopia. It's still there. A role model for any planet that really wants to find out what the good life can be. But it's been carefully camouflaged and it isn't easy to find. Aziians, remembering Lady Bliss, Mali, the It being's Earth origin, designated a week to memorialize the Earth destruction of itself. Itness science reigns. Earth is not the place. 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 Earth is not the place.
Final reading of Lady Bliss by Odie Hawkins. And Lady Bliss.
I didn't mean to leave you breathless.
Yes.
Like that, but I noticed when you start doing the sighs.
Yes.
That your chest was puffing up.
Yes.
And that meant that you just in here and giving too much air in there.
The book Lady Bliss.
As a matter of fact, it looked like still got some air in there.
Look, the book called Lady Bliss.
We talking about the same thing?
The book called Lady Bliss can be purchased on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or Author House.
Yeah,
Odie Hawkins' website is www.odiehawkins.com. ODIEHAWKINS.com. And he's also on the author's page on Amazon. And with this final reading of Lady Bliss by Odie Hawkins in collaboration with Ralph Vernon, cover by Charles Dixon and inserts. And it's a beautiful space, because space is the place. We look forward to seeing or hearing the next book, which will be...
Well, let me give you a preview.
You're going to give us... Oh, no.
Let me give you a preview.
Give us... Wait. Give us... Okay, that's... There's
the preview of the second in the series is called Mr. Bonobo Bliss.
And I'll just take...
Also known as Bo.
Bo. Not blow, but Bo.
No, not blow.
For both.
Both.
All right. We look forward to hearing from him the next
I'm not going to try
time.
to describe what it's all about, except that I'd like to say that. I'd like to say this.
Yeah.
In Lady Bliss, we had a woman, I want to say womanoid,
Yes.
who went to space with 7 male astronauts. In this particular book, in this particular case, a manoid, goes to space with 7 women. I'm talking about real live, down to earth women.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Earth
okay.
women.
Something for the girls, okay?
and that's all I'm gonna say about that.
All right.
They ain't playing around.
Amen.
They wanted somebody to help them out.
Somebody special. All right. Thank you very much, Odie Hawkins. Appreciate it. And a great it to you.
This is not this. This is namaste.
Yes.
This is itness.
Itness. Great itness to you. Amen.
What can I say? It.
It.
That's it.
That's it.